Hi, my name is Lana Elko, and this is my Hidden Door Challenge story that I want to share with you today. And thank you, Dwaine Hartman, for inviting me to participate in this challenge. That's so cool. And I have to admit that all my life, um, everything about me is connected to this to this experience and to this challenge, to the content of this challenge. So, just a little story about myself. I was born and grew up in Ukraine, and it was a Soviet time when I was growing up. And then I was a when I was in my teen years, the Soviet Union fell apart. So, basically, when I was growing up, I didn't hear much about the God and religion or anything like that. It was atheist society. But deep inside of me, I always felt connected. I always felt divinely guided, though I didn't have words for that, right? So I always had that, and also had that gift of seeing the energies. I could see the energies, I could see beyond the visible, and also I could predict some future events, which was usually it was like spontaneous, and it was like at the beginning I was sharing with others, but at some point I felt I have to stop sharing because many times I was judged or ridiculed or punished for whatever I had to share. So I decided that's not a useful skill, and I kind of shut it down and got really deeply introverted. When I was in my teen years, I felt extremely isolated in my social environment. I didn't have any friends. I didn't connect with people around me on any level, and I felt like lost in alien world and wondering why I'm here because I don't share any values, I don't share any interests with people around me. I remember spending lots of hours sitting on my grandmother's roof, just stargazing, looking deeply into the Milky Way and feeling this ecstatic, connection, oneness, and communicating with some energies and feeling that, feeling drawn, feeling that there is something there that feels familiar, that feels like home. In the mornings, I always had this severe form of so-called celestial nostalgia. This is the term I've heard during my training in transpersonal psychology, and I felt, wow, that's a lot about me. So I didn't want to like wake up and deal with the day because I didn't feel like I belong. I had extreme version of non-belonging complex for a very long time. Then at some point in my 20s, early 20s, I think I was 20 years old, I discovered skydiving for myself, and that was my first contact, I guess, with human beings that I felt, oh, I belong, or I share something with these people, with these crazy skydivers who jump out of plane with no reason, right? So I felt that spiritual connection for the first time in my life, and we didn't need to talk about it. It was just there. So it became a big part of my life, and it actually, I would say, it saved me from, I don't know, depression or whatever. Not knowing what to do with my life, right? I got more social, I developed some social skills. I actually built a business to sustain my expensive hobby, skydiving, right? Traveled around the world. So my 20s was really, really a good time for me because finally I could find something that made me feel the depth and the meaning of being here. Now, later, in my early 30s, I started to feel, wow, is that all? Is this the only thing why I'm here? Just to skydive, right? And I started to dig deeper. And at some point, I had an awakening call by meeting somebody who I remembered from past lives. And that was very intense energy exchange and experience for me, that I suddenly had this flashback from the past lives, remembering that I've been here before, so it was not my first time here on this planet. And that actually caused to dig deeper to dig deeper for the answers. And one day, my friend recommended me to join holotropic breathwork workshop. It was in Ukraine, and I just decided to go because it sounded like something that I could enjoy and I could benefit from, and maybe find my answers. What is my next step? So I joined the breathwork workshop, and my very first breathwork session, which was 3 hours, I got the most mind-blowing experience. One of my, like, spiritually, yeah, it was the most mind-blowing experience because it changed my life, because I made decisions based on that experience later on in my life. The reason I'm here, I think, is because of that session. So I started to breathe, and I started to go on this inner journey. And suddenly I completely zoomed out of my life. I zoomed out of this time and space, and I saw the whole, evolution of this planet from kind of like above, right? And I saw other civilizations living on this planet before, and how the consciousness was formed and started to grow. I saw myself part of Lemurian civilization on this planet, and also saw alien ships coming down, bringing this piece of consciousness to this planet to be integrated and to be part of the human evolution of human consciousness on this planet. So that was, and then also saw myself, what is my role? What is my role on the spiritual level? Like, why I'm here, how to connect it with my present human life. I saw all points connected, everything. I gained this crystal clarity on a deeper, like, energetic level, not so much intellectual, right? It was just the experience. It was so powerful. I embodied that. So after that session, I also saw this kind of star tribe, I guess, Golden-Nakiatas, that I could relate to, and they were like my brothers and sisters, right? And on the soul level, on the energetic level. So that breathwork session completely changed my life. After that, my meditations became very deep and meaningful, and I received the guidance to take my next step. So my next step was to move to California and join breathwork, holotropic breathwork training. It was GTT, growth transpersonal training. So I just knew I had to do it. So I remember I was in DC at that time when I received this guidance, and I packed my stuff in my car, left everything behind, and I took a journey, a cross-country trip, right? And I started a new life. And I was at that time I was a single mother. I divorced my husband at the time. That was part of the journey. So there were not easy decisions to make based on that experience, but I don't regret anything I did. The reason why I'm here and what I do now is because of that session, because of that awakening call, and because I had enough trust to follow it. So today I work in the field of human consciousness. I help people to awaken and find themselves here, remember who they are, and find their purpose here. And particularly these days, I work a lot on the feminine, on divine feminine, on awakening feminine power, and I can see how much everything on this planet can benefit from integrating this feminine aspect back and giving it the power back, right? How powerful it is, this feminine piece that we've been missing for thousands and thousands of years. So this is my journey, and thank you for listening, and I hope that this challenge will continue to grow and expand, and so many people will share it. Thank you. Oh, and I'd like to pass this challenge to Amy Burrell and Lisa Magdalena.